go.
Hello, and welcome to the pilot episode of the Gateway Podcast. Coming to you from Clarksville, Tennessee, also known as the Gateway to the New South. We are proudly progressive members of the Montgomery County Democratic Party, and we're here to bring hope to our community and connect progressive folk here in Montgomery County with the larger Democratic movement. My name is Rebecca Janssen. I'm the Communications Chair as well as the Interim Chair from Montgomery County Democratic Party, while Ali Phillips is on maternity leave. I'm here with Charles Uffelman, who is our former chair. Today we're going to be talking about where we come from and where we're going as a county party, as well as how our volunteers fit into the picture. So there'll be some kind of sound effect here, like music. So welcome, Charles, to the podcast.
Hello. Good to be with you.
So to dive into this, can you tell us a little bit about the recent history of the Democratic Party here in Montgomery County?
Yeah, so I got involved in the Montgomery County Democrats as a staff person. I worked for the Tennessee Democratic Party. It was my first job out of college. And it was summer of 2017. So many of us were flocking to indivisible and county parties and just like whatever we could get involved with. Because Donald Trump had just gotten elected. We did not think that was possible. And there was just the air of resistance then was different. We were coming out of the Obama administration. So there was a lot more like hope and like, we're not going to accept this. Mm-hmm. We're going to change it. We're going to stop them every day.
Yeah.
And that was throwing people into our county party structure then. The county party itself was struggling to handle all the new folks, to handle the growing of new organizations in the community. There were folks that were very involved at the time that had been involved since 2008. And a lot happened in 2008 that broke our county party. So like a lot of Southern Democratic parties, county parties anyway, they broke into factions between Hillary and Obama in 2008.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And you had folks in that primary who were very fired up for Hillary. And that was typically the folks more involved, the older folks in the party in a whiter with a T section of the party. And you had this younger, more diverse coalition of folks who were fired up with Obama, who had never been involved in the party before.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of like turf action, like we're here, and like, you know, from the older folks that had been in it, and we're like, this is our party. And the Obama coalition were kind of building their own thing separate from the party. Mm-hmm. Obama won the nomination, historic. And out of that, we saw a lot of folks leave the county party. We saw our leadership of our county party get more diverse. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the folks that had traditionally funded the party made sure we had an office, made sure we had all these supplies that we kind of take for granted today.
Yeah.
They left.
Because of the changes?
Yeah, well, because, you know, they were not going to be Obama Democrats.
All right.
That a lot of those, they were donors, and they were gone. So there was a lot of heartburn over that. Yeah. We lost a lot. We stopped having offices. Okay. We stopped having a major Labor Day celebration. Yeah. And the party fell down in a big way. Yeah. Out of that, the party kind of goes quiet in a little bit of a quieter mode for a few years. Mm-hmm. And 10 years later, 2018, we're woken back up by the resistance. Yeah. But there was a lot of fighting, a whole lot of fighting inside the party. Folks I love, that, you know, a lot of folks trying to make it work and take the party in a different, better direction, a newer direction. Yeah. And other folks feeling threatened by that. So it was sad to see that kind of break down. It happened again in 2020, lots of infighting. And then we get to 2021, 2022. Mm-hmm. And then we have this group of us, me and Ronnie kind of be in the middle of it. Ronnie became our county party chair in the beginning of 2022. And I was, his vice chair. And we went to dinner one night and we had a very real conversation about how the party's supposed to work, and how we were supposed to work together. Mm-hmm. Ronnie and I were friends with folks who had been fighting for years. Yeah. And we wanted to remain friends with those people and support them, and didn't have any bad blood with them, but we wanted to set a new tone. So the shift we made then was we're going to start setting big goals and we're going to start achieving them. So that was throwing together a banquet, throwing together a barbecue, raising more money than we ever had. So from basically 2005 to 2022, the Republicans in this county outraised the Montgomery County Democrats every year. 20 years, essentially, 18 years. And so through us coming together and re-inviting a lot of folks who had given up, they had given up on the county party organization. You could find a bunch of them who just acted like it didn't exist because they just didn't want to get caught up in the fight, came back. We were not, bringing them all back in and showing them that we're setting a different tone. And so from February of 2022 to August, we go from two attendees, not counting me and Ronnie. So 4 people in February. To like 40 people in August. Oh, by the way, we have an actual office.
Now.
It's easy to take this for granted. But we painted it, decorated it, did all the things that county parties need to do, and change the culture. There's some things we dropped along the way, like our party did become less diverse in that time. And so we're still kind of grappling with that, how to fix that. But we got a lot more momentum, alongside a lot of other organizations that popped up in the same kind of ecosystem. So in that you have organizations that are not partisan, but still doing a lot of good work. Indivisible, Black Clarksville, the Voter Alliance, things like that. They just want to create more justice in our community and get more people involved.
So they're on a similar path. Not the exact same.
Very similar. We're friends with them. It's good to kind of be part of like a larger team now.
Well, great. How do you think that the struggles that happened within the party carry over into what we're doing now?
I think to this day, we try to change the culture. Be a lot more goal-oriented and less conflict-oriented. I think we went a little too far with it where we didn't have enough tough conversations, and we're trying to get back into that and have more debates about how we spend our money and how we structure our whole party and just like look at different ways to do things. But overall, the culture is cut out the drama, cut out the personalities, and write down point by point what our plan is and then start knocking out that plan.
And then I'll be on board with that plan, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And also we're bringing the plan into all of the caucuses and all of the committees, right? Yeah.
So like we need a more diverse party. We've seen a lot of growth and diversity this cycle. This is our second cycle with an experiment. So this is kind of fun. We're the first county party in Tennessee to set up what's called caucuses. So we have a youth caucus, Black caucus, women's caucus, LGBT caucus, environmental caucus, and there's like 8. I know I'm missing
gun
2.
safety,
Latino caucus. So basically, that kind of comes. It's a secondary effect. The first effect is like, we realized we needed to be more diverse, and so the caucuses allow us to put ourselves on teams that reach out to communities, based on identity. So the county party, its officer team is like 8 people. And so it runs the big county party events that you see out in the streets. But we need caucuses to actually be the face of the party in the community. Because like when I was chair, I was not the best person to be the face of the party to women or to the Black community or the Latino community. We needed more partners and elevating voices. So it's like we give the folks who run those caucuses a microphone and a budget. And it's like, here, use these funds, go out there, work with your community and bring them in. Bring them into us so we can build power with them, but also take us out to them so we can show support.
Two-way street there. Okay. How do you think the county party here in Montgomery County fits in with the larger Democratic Party in the state and nationally?
I see it kind of like an L. So like we are the bottom structure of a vertical national structure. Above us is the Tennessee Democratic Party. So they lead on state issues, they lead on state races, and they work with the state house and state senate on winning those races. And then above them is the DNC. And the DNC leads on federal issues, and they work with the House and the Senate and the governors to win those larger races.
The DNC is the Democratic National Convention.
Yes, it is a body of about 600 people, and they elect a chair. They're a lot like us in that sense, but they're not as powerful as people think. People think the DNC does this and does that.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, if you see an article, the DNC is doing this. It's like if they're picking a side in a primary or silencing this voice or that, it's normally another committee.
Yeah.
Like it's the House caucus or the Senate caucus or something like that, who doesn't report to the DNC. So that's another point that drives me crazy on social media. It's like, stop saying everything's the DNC.
Yeah,
it's just not.
They're not as powerful as what people think they are. But they are still pretty prevalent in the media. Like people know who they are. We see the conventions and everything.
Yes. Yeah, their meetings.
People know that that's happening when it happens.
Yeah, and it's because there's a lot of powerful people on the DNC. They're not powerful because they're on the DNC. They're powerful in their other positions, like
places.
Like Chuck Schumer's on the DNC. He's more powerful as Senate caucus chair than he is, or Senate caucus leader than he is like on the DNC.
It raises the profile.
It does. Yeah.
Okay. And what in terms of locally, how do we fit in?
Yeah, that is a question that's evolving. So I think when I started as chair, there weren't a lot of folks trying to get involved electorally. There were a few kind of getting started movements in 2022, but we've seen a steep ramp up with other groups that want to do electoral stuff. And so that is like Equity Alliance and Planned Parenthood, Sierra Club, which they may have been doing that before. I'm not a super expert on what everybody's done, what they haven't. So as part, other folks have ramped up. The other part is we've gotten to know these groups and know their processes more.
And then we also have, as part of our leadership, we have some elected officials, right?
Yeah. So in our leadership, the head of the Montgomery County Democratic Party is Ronnie Glick. Yeah. He's the highest ranking Democrat in Montgomery County. So if anybody wants to know who's the head of this county party, it is Ronnie.
It is actually.
And then after him, you got Allie, our chair, and you as interim chair. But we also have Rashida Leverett, the county commissioner. She's the head of the Democrats on the county commission. We've got 7 Democrats on the county commission. There's 8 Republicans. There's 4 or 5 different independents in there. So we have kind of a closely divided county commission that I think we have a real good shot at getting majority in. But so working with Rashida to help build out that team, recruit candidates. We've got 3 out of 7 school board seats. Yeah. So we just need 1 flip to get a majority to protect public schools on the school board. And then city council, that's nonpartisan. Yeah. But I do think we're going to play in city council a little bit more and start making endorsements. The Republicans went real big on that.
They did.
And they were very successful.
Yeah.
And so I know a lot of folks on our side, some of you listening, some of you have told me like, oh, it's nonpartisan. We can't do that. The other side's doing it. Yeah. And they're winning. And now they're controlling our city budget. And we're out there begging city council to give firefighters a living wage, and we're struggling to get it. So we're going to change some stuff about city council next time.
Okay, great. So moving along, can you explain to us what is going on right now here in Montgomery County, as well as in general here on planet Earth? It's kind of a little bit chaotic.
Yeah, my thing is, what the hell?
Yeah.
Well, you explain it to me.
Why do I explain it to you? Well, I told you I had to explain to my teenage children last night that we are not in a World War situation, and that we will be okay. And the world keeps turning. Things are going on in the world, but we have to concentrate on what's happening. Things that we can change ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, I think for those of you listen, we're sitting here the day after Donald Trump has ordered the bombing of Iran. So if you grew up like me, I'm 31, so I have lived through 9/11, Iraq, and Afghanistan. today. I mean, when this airs, maybe we're all settled down and fine.
Mm-hmm.
Or we might actually be in World War III. Someone called me last night that I'm close with and was like, "What does this mean?" This is someone who didn't really grow up in Iraq and Afghanistan and the timeline. The makings of the international picture are scary. And if you look at the recipe for World War One, where you had multiple tensions simmering in these kind of proxy wars happening all across Europe.
Yeah.
And then it took one assassination and it all cascaded into everyone declaring war. And then all of a sudden we were in World War.
Yeah. It happened. When it did happen, it happened fast.
Yeah. So that's what scares me about where we're at right now is there's a lot of global tension and we need someone who's a steady hand and we don't have that. That's the international picture. Maybe, like I said, maybe it all sorts itself out.
Maybe so. How about in Tennessee, Montgomery County?
Yeah, I mean, we have been beating our head up against the Republican supermajority, for 10 years now. And, we did something unique last year. We ran much stronger campaigns in some of our targeted districts. And this is a story that I think most people won't accept as like a good readout of 2024. But it is, to me, it's the truth. We built a wall around our Democratic caucus at the state level.
Yeah.
And when the state moved to the right 6 points, we held every single seat.
Yeah.
Ronnie Glenn, in my opinion, should have lost last year because his seat is like 50-50. And so if the state is moving 6 points to the right, if you just extrapolate that means he loses, 52-48, something like that. And he did. So he held on. He has broken through with his voters. So anyway, what's happening here is I think we double down on what we did in 2024 at the state level. We get good candidates who have real stories and understand the narrative and are willing to build a relationship with their voters. And we do that again. Because I think in 2026, if we're going from 6 points to the right, we have another swing 6 points to the left. Allie Phillips would have won.
Because we made gains.
Yes.
Yeah. And the other seats that we didn't win in Montgomery County, we made gains in spite of, all the odds which were against. So if we could have a repeat of that for the midterms, that would be, excellent.
Yeah. It starts now. I mean, we've got to get candidates in the field in 75, 68. We've got to make sure that we're helping candidates all across the state and building energy. We've got to help candidates that are going to run statewide for Senate and governor.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, Montgomery County is split into 3 districts for the Tennessee House. Ronnie Glenn, who is our ranking Democrat right now, he is kind of in the center of the county. And then in the west side is District 75, which is where Allie Phillips ran. And then on the east side is District 68, which is heavily Republican, but we did make gains even over there.
Yes. Yeah. We're seeing movement and all these, we've got to hit the gas pedal on.
Yeah. So kind of moving into what we can do about that as a concerned citizen or somebody that leans progressive, what can we do?
I don't want you to think like what we're going through right now is just electoral, like full space here for the Hispanic Latino communities that are facing ICE raids regardless of their immigration status or citizenship status. LGBTQ community. I mean, we've got, trans folks that are being separated from the army right now into Clarksville, being civilians here. So everyone's getting hit in the face by this administration in ways that we knew was coming. We expected it, but it's different when it's actually happening and it's happening to people, So the first thing you got to do is find ways to cope. You cannot live in fear and anger and just like consuming all the negative media all day, every day. You've got to find a way to carve out your own peace and find a way to carve out your own community. Being in person with people helps.
Oh, it definitely does. Yeah.
joining movements. I know it can be tedious to sit through a meeting like our Democratic Party meetings or some other, group or movement in Clarksville. But you're going to have lower blood pressure when you leave our meetings than you would be if you sat there and you scrolled on social media.
Yes. And we are trying to have more social based events as well. So that's something that I would like to have happen while I'm in leadership, is that we have events that are not political, that are just fun and hanging out. And the Women's Caucus is already doing that with their Stitch and Bitch.
That's every month?
Every month, yeah. And so I would love to see some of the other caucuses doing that. And then as well, we did have a quiz night a few months ago. I'd like to do that again. I just think because the situation in the world seems so overwhelming, I think it is necessary to have human contact and to make contact with people who have a similar viewpoint as well. Because it can feel isolating. I know, we talked about you talked about how it was after the 2016 election. And I, at the time, was living in Dixon County, and I didn't really know anybody that wasn't Republican at that point. And when we moved here to Montgomery County, it was really hard to make friends because everybody, again, seemed like they were Republican. So I remember I met the candidate who was running in 2016, and literally when I talked to him, Justin Canoe, I cried because I was so grateful to meet someone.
Justin's great.
So, it just, we need to be, as well as building a political party and a structure, we're friends. We need to be friends with people and building connections, human connections.
100%. The LGBT caucus does a social event every month as well. Make a bar gay. We pick a bar.
You did that Friday, right? Was that?
I think I missed it. No, they went to the Customs House Museum to see an exhibit. I think it's this Friday when they're doing Make a Bar Gay. They pick a bar. We don't have a gay bar in Clarksville right now, but they make it gay. And they just get all the gay people to go. And the last one I went to, there was 15 of us. So it really felt like I was in a little gay bar for a night.
That's cool. Well, that is something that our caucus is definitely. And that's why we need them, because we get, as leaders of the party, we kind of get caught up in the minute details of the day-to-day running of the party, and we don't see or connect with people that, and figure out how they're feeling. But the caucuses can do that.
100%. And I own some of that because, I was chair for 3 years, and this is also my job, not being county party chair. A lot of people think it was actually my job, but it was not. But my day job is working campaigns, things like that. And so it's very easy to treat our meetings like work. And so I'm glad that you're bringing in the more social aspect.
Yeah. So we did talk about the social aspect, but if somebody's watching this right now and they would like to be involved with our party in a social as well as a, political helping aspect, how can they be part of what we're doing?
Yeah. Part of the coping is narrow your field of focus. You as a citizen don't need to be checking the Trump administration on every single thing or checking the supermajority on every single thing. So narrow your focus to what you're actually passionate about. Is it electoral? You want to actually win elections? I'm in the electoral side, and so is Rebecca, because we think that's the best tool to make change. If the answer to that is yes, or you care about electoral work, elections on some level, this is where you start. We are the main electoral. We do it all cycle. Other groups will do it sometimes. We do it all the time, and we're always building towards election day of 2026. So come and join us. We have a monthly meeting where you will get a briefing on everything we do, and all the programs we're running. Join a subcommittee. Whether it's communications, you want to work on tech and social media, fundraising, if you want to plan our big banquet or our barbecue or help sell merch. I think they call it a sweatshop. It's volunteer.
Volunteers. We're volunteers.
And we have air conditioning, so they're not sweating.
Although it does get warm. We have been, I decided along with the fundraising committee that we should bring our t-shirt making process in-house.
Yeah.
So we've been doing that. I really enjoy it. I think the other volunteers
It's cool
too. So
we got some cool merch out.
We do have some really, really cool merch. And
so that's fundraising. Yeah. The next is political affairs, which does candidate recruitment, candidate training. So if you want to help with that, or you want to run for office yourself, that's a huge ask. We have like 40 or 50 different offices on the ballot in 2026. So that is something for you to consider, running for office or joining the political affairs team. Mm-hmm. And then the grassroots outreach team. Yeah, they do booths and go to festivals. They're kind of our face on the ground. They did the Juneteenth festival. They'll do the Pride Festival, things like that.
And they help us organize our volunteers.
Yeah.
Everyone.
That's the committees. I mean, there's a trustees committee that helps keep the office clean and make sure we have a nice space and some legit. But then the caucuses are really big. But the party's not the only way to get involved. We really believe in being partners in a coalition. So Planned Parenthood, you've got Equity Alliance, the Voter Alliance. These are folks that may not be direct partners. They may be kind of working on other aspects of elections that are not about electing Democrats. But all of it is moving towards the goal of making us more small d Democratic, as in more equal participation from everybody.
Mm-hmm. All right, really quickly, because we are running out of time. There's a special election coming up this year, sometime when it's announced, and also midterm elections coming up next year.
Yeah.
What is happening within the party to prepare for that?
Yes, I'm getting so many questions. I hope when this airs, it has been settled and we know who our nominee is on the Democratic side. But we are going to have a special election, it looks like. Mark Green, for the second time, is retiring from Congress.
Yeah, I mean, he may decide not to. We don't know with him, right?
Yeah, we'll find out. But if he does, we've got to have some candidates ready to challenge him. He's already taken a job, apparently, drilling for oil in Guyana or something like that, or Guyana. So that's not great. He's trying to get paid and get out of there, but whatever. Our goal is to try to flip that seat. Special elections, special things can happen. We've flipped a lot of seats, like Alabama. Doug Jones flipped the state of Alabama in the U.S. Senate race in 2019 or in the middle of the Trump administration. Yeah. So that is what we want to get going here. We have a history in the district of performing well. Juanita Charles ran for state senate 2019 and lost to, Bill Powers, about 400 votes in 2019. So if we can make that happen again, put a lot more energy behind it, and with all the work we've built up since Juanita ran last time, I think we got a good shot.
And so the first step on that is to recruit and train volunteers, right?
Yes. Join a team with us. We're going to be knocking doors. We're going to be building out our brand while we figure out who our candidate's going to be.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thanks.
If anybody out there has questions about anything that we've been discussing here today, you can email us at officers@mctndp.org. You can also call our office here. It's 931-919-4844, or you can drop by our monthly meeting and we'll add the meeting times to the information here. So we're glad that you joined us. Make sure to like and follow us and come to one of our meetings soon. Thank you.
Thank you.